Hello and welcome to the first ever Stratford Knights Coaches Show, brought to you by Jimmy Dunn State Farm Insurance. This is our first ever time doing this, bringing you the best in Stratford Knight athletics every week. Every week we will have a coach here to talk about recaps of the game, outstanding performers, and what's coming up in their sport. So we're here with Coach Denny McDaniel, head coach of the Stratford Knights, currently sitting at 2-1, basically playing 3 games in 12 days. We'll start out first with Somerville. Close loss, 35-30. What's your thoughts on the ball game?
Really proud of how our kids responded. You know, obviously we had a situation where they had rain, had to cancel the game on Friday, and we were all ready to go on that time, but adjusted to Monday. I thought our kids, were really excited to get out there and play. A huge rivalry game to start the season off. Offensively, we put up some points. We left some points out there. Defensively, we gave up some cheap ones there, but all in all, a really good game. We fought hard both sides. We started coming together a little bit. We got to eliminate penalties, kind of hurt us a little bit. But as far as the first game coming out with against a big rivalry, very pleased with our effort, our attitude, and just had some things we got to clean up.
Well, Coach McDaniel, huge call on first down. First play of the ball game goes 91 yards, pass from Jenkins Davis to Malik McGowan. What goes through your mind when you make that call?
That's just preparation right there of studying film and watching. The last couple of years, we've always seen how they adjusted a certain motion. So we talked all preseason. I mean, even from the first day of practice, that this is what we're going to do first play of the game. And if they adjusted the motion the way they did, we were going to hit Malik out the backfield and made the call. And the offense executed beautifully. Jenkins did a good play fake. Flipped the sits, threw the ball back over there, and Malik did what Malik does. Caught that ball and took it down the sideline for a big touchdown and a great way to start the season for us.
Well, we're not going to talk about who was the big bald guy doing the windmill motion as he was going down the sideline. We're not going to talk about that. You see it on film.
Yeah.
When you think about the Somerville game, obviously offensively have a chance to win there at the end. But the big surprise defensively. How did you feel how our defense played in that game?
Well, early off in the game, we were struggling a little bit, getting lined up and just making some tackles. But I felt in the second half, in the halftime, we made some adjustments. And we got dialed in a little bit better. We started making some stops there, so allowed it to, allow us to give it that opportunity to get us a chance to win there at the end. So we're really proud of their effort. Really proud of how they're getting better each series. They're on the field. They're getting better each week, and we're excited to see where they're going to go and develop.
I mean, I remember right there we need the ball back, and we're sitting there thinking someone's got a chance to run the clock out, and then magically Trenton Fordham comes up with a fumble recovery, giving us a chance to do it. Just a huge play.
Yep.
As we talk about defense moving forward. Win against a top 10 4A program, going all the way to Clemson to play Daniel. Win 42-26 in a game that first half was back and forth. What do you think? What are your thoughts about, first of all, how your defense played? Because there was a huge stop there at the end, chance for Daniel to cut it to 6. We get a tip ball, knock it down. Defense gets the ball back. Offense comes right back and scores. What are your thoughts about how that played and just defense overall in that game?
Well, just first of all, we played Somerville on Monday and have to take a 4-hour trip up to Daniel and play in one of the perennial powerhouses in the state. A lot of people down here don't know who Daniel is, but Daniel is that loss on Friday night was their 7th loss this decade. They have not lost by more than 7 at home in the last 35 years. There were some shocked people in the town of Central South Carolina on that Friday night, but thought our kids responded well going up there, and like I said earlier, defense is getting better every series. They're out there, and we talk about playing for each other. And football is great because you're going to depend on somebody depends on you. And offensively, we depend on defense to get a stop right when we needed to. Came up with a huge stop, where in years past we might not have done that and allowed them back in the game. And then come with that big stop, and then offensively we just came down there and put the nail in the coffin and sealed the deal. So it was a great win for us.
Absolutely offensive explosion in that game. Jenkins Davis has 5 total touchdowns. J.Q. Crosby with 2 big touchdown grabs, one of which where he literally had to fight off a defender to get there. What are your thoughts about those 2 guys and how they played?
Just, that's what, Jenkins is a 4-year starter. He's a leader of our team, our offense. He does a great job. That's what he does. That's why he's a Liberty commit. Same thing with JQ. JQ's a commit to Georgia Southern. Those guys make plays for us. And we know when it comes to crunch time, we can count on those guys. And they're not the only 2. We have several weapons on offense, and it's kind of pick your poison, who you want to stop. If you stop this guy, well, the next guy's going to step up and make plays happen. So just really, really excited for those guys' development They have put a tremendous amount of work in and done a great job. I'm really proud of them.
Well, one thing I noticed is that we're a lot more balanced this year. So, like, I noticed, against Somerville, our running backs really kind of go off.
Yep.
And then Daniel had a really concerted effort. You see 7 in the box. You see, they're really concerned on stopping Malik McGowan and DJ Grant. And then that allows number 1 to go ahead and get loose and do the things that he does.
Yep.
So, I mean, just that. What do you feel about your balance, your ability to do a lot of things?
Well, that's where, I mean, it's I hate to say it, but it's like pick your poison. You want to stop the run, then we're going to torture the pass. If you want to cover the pass, then we're going to run the football on you. And it's just not one guy. We have 4 guys that can tote the football. We have 5 guys that can catch it. We can line up in a too tight situation. We can go from too tight to spread without changing personnel. And it is a nightmare for defensive coordinators who play against us of how to stop us. It's almost a situation where they can't really stop us. They just got to try to slow us down some. And what's great about our offensive guys is that there's not an I guy over there. There's not an I guy on our team. They were fine with, well, if they're trying to stop the run, then we'll throw the ball and go off. It's not about stats for them. It's just about getting wins and playing for each other. So it's really awesome to coach these guys.
Well, that brings us to Friday night in the home opener. Big, huge event, tons of people there. Let's go over the recap first, and we can talk about the environment. Beat Fort Dorchester 56-3. The first time I know in probably 10 years we've beaten Fort Dorchester. Malik McGowan, almost 200 combined yards. Basically, everybody kind of get into the action. What were your feelings about, how that Fort Dorchester game went?
Well, obviously, it was a great game. Exciting to be a part of and to coach. Also good to coach in a game where you're not stressed out at the end because you kind of know what the outcome's going to be. But Fort D has been a perennial powerhouse in the Low Country the last couple of years. They are not what they used to be, but they are still a good football team. And for our guys to come out there, especially first home game, and really set the tone for how we want to play. You're going down, you're going in at halftime. You're up 35-3 at halftime. You can take a deep breath. Obviously you got to preach this out over. We've got to come out and play the second half. But we're excited to come out here and kind of seal the deal with them there in the third quarter, and it allowed us to get all of our guys some reps, which is imperative for down the road, getting these young guys some reps out there. So it was just a great team win.
Well, get on to the other side of the ball. Defense, who I think a lot of people might not know that our defensive team, probably 6 of those guys, this is their first time playing varsity football, holds Fort Dorchester to 3 points. I don't think they ever crossed the 30. Just tremendous performance on their side.
Yeah, the only time they did was that last drive at the half, and they got a penalty on us, got them down to that range to kick the field goal, which we don't discuss penalties. Everybody's whether the call was, but I'm just felt that, like I said, they're getting better each week. They're getting better every drive they're out there. They're starting to understand that play with their hair on fire and get after it a little bit. You got guys who are stepping up there, like Bryce Clemens is a young man who's had a tremendous all season, really put in work, and now he's starting to reap the fruits of his labor. Cameron Gibbs, another guy that has come up from JV, he's done a really good job. Kermit Davis up front, Landon Simmons, Jacory McCoy, done a really good job. And then Trent Fordham, I feel like Trent Fordham has been playing safety here as long as I've been coaching here. But he's been up there a while and done a great job back for us. Just those guys of stepping up and making plays when they have to.
So the atmosphere was absolutely electric Friday night. We had people painting themselves white. We had a huge student section, rally towels. How do you think the crowd and just all the things that go into Friday night off the field make a huge difference for our people?
Without question. First of all, student section, amazing job. Please keep doing that every time we're at home. I told Coach Burnett, we got off the buses for the night walk, and I look out there in the parking lot, and there's a group of guys, I think it was some baseball players, somebody else. They just had the paint pouring all over them, just rubbing all over them, and that white out. It was a great atmosphere. The night walk was awesome. And what that does is that shows support for our guys, that they understand that people are here to watch them play, to watch them perform, and it adds excitement there to it. Nobody wants to go out there and it's dead silent when they're playing at home. And the atmosphere that our fans created Friday night is exactly what Stratford football is about and should be about. It was great to kind of see that kind of reminiscence of the days back, the late 90s, early 2000s, when we were playing the lower state title every year. It was very reminiscent of that. And just really appreciative of the student body doing that and stepping up like that.
So I couldn't possibly let you leave out here. 2 former offensive linemen right here. Those 5 guys up front offensively, you just can't say enough about their play.
You got 2 4-year starters up there in Jameson Pelham and Ben Jordan. You got a 3-year starter in TJ Bryant. Antonio Gantz, 2-year starter, and then Greg Campbell, played some last year, we started this year. Those 5 guys have done a great job, and I don't care what weapons we have on offense, how good of a defense is. If our linemen up front, if we don't play well, we don't win. And those guys take it to heart. They understand they're the backbone of our team. They're just taking so much ownership. They have meetings on their own. They come here on Sundays when they don't have to and meet with us and talk about things. And just the overall development of leadership in our program has been tremendous. And I truly believe that's why we're on the course we're on right now.
All right, looking forward to Sockasty. Got to make a long trip up to Myrtle Beach. Got to make that road. How do you keep the team focused? How do you make sure we come out with the same intensity that we've come out the past 3 games?
Well, at practice this morning, we said the same thing last week when we said before we played Fort D, we can't allow Daniel to beat us. That's a big win for us, but we can't allow the hangover from that win to affect us this week. Said the same thing, that we can't allow Fort D to beat us this week. Obviously, Sockasty is a team, they're going to play hard. Our guys, we don't know much about them, and we're going up there in an environment right there, so we're going to have to kind of manufacture it and understand it's a business trip. But if we come out there and execute the way we're able to, we should be having a good bus ride home.
Awesome. We look forward to it. That game will be Friday night at 7:30. We have a JV game here at 6 p.m. Also, volleyball takes on Colleton County at home Tuesday night. JV game starts at 5, and the varsity game will start at 6:30. So, make sure you come out, support Stratford Knight Athletics. Thank you so much for joining us for our first ever Stratford Knights Coaches Show, sponsored by Jimmy Dunn State Farm Insurance.
Go Knights!